All right. Are we live? Are we live? I'm not sure. Testing. Okay, guys. So if you can see me, I've got no way of knowing I'm live. So I'm currently... Okie dokie. Cool. It says I am live. That's good news. Let me just make sure everything's muted. Right. So sorry about that. This is the first live stream on Diabetic Tim channel. I've also just changed the name. It used to be Diabetic Friend. It's now Diabetic Tim because my name's Tim. So guys, I'm going to keep an eye on the screen just to see if anyone's joined. Okie dokie. I don't expect many people to be joining the stream because this is last minute thing. I haven't really announced it. My channel isn't huge. But if you are watching and you have subscribed to this channel, I just want to firstly say thank you. Secondly, I know it's been a long time since I've done anything. I don't think anyone's on yet, so I can't actually check if the volume's working. I can only assume so. Let me get on to the topic, the reason why I wanted to have this chat. I am starting a diabetic podcast. I'm really excited. If you're not following me on Instagram, you would have, if you are following me on Instagram, you would have seen that I've put out a few messages saying that I'm starting a diabetic podcast. I'm very excited about it, guys. Like, I really want to interview people, like, everyday type 1 diabetics out there that are going through this thing. I'm very, very excited to get started. I'm busy building out the website now. There were two names I could have chosen for the podcast, and this is where I'm feeling a little unsettled, if I'm being honest. Just checking if anyone else is on. So the first name I came up with was Type 1 Hustle Podcast, which I kind of liked. Some people didn't like it, some did. And then the other one is Diabetic Tim. That's where I'm at on Instagram. My YouTube channel is now called Diabetic Tim. And I don't want that to be an egocentric thing. So the Diabetic Tim podcast, I just think the name's quite catchy. So I think I'm going to stick with Diabetic Tim. I've just registered diabetictim.com. And I think I'm going to go with that for now. Does it actually matter what it's called? Probably not. The main thing is that I'm going to be podcasting very soon. Now, in saying that, I really want to invite people to come onto the podcast, right? Everyday people. What I'm busy doing, as I said, is setting up the website. There'll be a place where you can kind of apply, if there's such a thing online, fill out a few questions so I can just get to know. I mean, I don't want to have any crazy people on the podcast, although that would be interesting. I'm sure people would enjoy listening to that. But yeah, I'm going to go through a small vetting process of like just basic questions about your diabetes, how long you've been diagnosed for. But at the end of the day, I want this to be a really relaxed thing. So I'm very excited to start interviewing you guys out there. I'm going to probably do about 4 or 5 interviews behind the scenes and then launch the podcast. So realistically speaking, we're about a month out. But I'm going to use this channel also just to keep updates going. Let me know what you think. If you guys are excited about this. I know podcasts, not everyone's into podcasts, but for a lot of you who are commuting to jobs, if you're on the train, if you're on the bus, if you're driving, you can listen to a podcast. And I thought some of the questions I want to ask are really going to be quite, I think, interesting. You know, I really want to get into the heads of other diabetics, what's the funniest thing that's happened to you as a diabetic? You know, all these little stories that we live with, man, like no one gets, but we get it because we're diabetics. Our pancreases don't work. And I'm trying to make a good situation out of a crappy situation, right? Like none of us asked to be diabetics, but let's make the most of it. My control is far from perfect, and that's cool. I'm not pretending to be like, have all the answers or anything else. So, that's where we're at. That's where I'm at. Please let me know if you're watching this. To be honest, as I say, I got 2 people watching. That's the first time I can see that. Guys, if you are watching, can you just pop a little comment so I can mainly just see how this thing works? Even if you just say, hey, or tell me where you're from. If you can tell me where you're watching from, that's always kind of cool. I want to just test out the software. It's new software I've got going. I've actually recently just got a new camera up there. Let's see if it focuses. Not really. Sorry. Testing out my equipment on a live stream. Probably not the best idea. But yeah, so this new software, I just want to see that I can receive comments and all of that. But yeah, I'll just give it a few more minutes. But otherwise, I can get creative in thinking of things to talk about. My blood sugar at the moment. Let me test my blood sugar while I'm on air, because no better way of... Let me just get my tester out. I just dropped my Lancet. 1 second. So I'll test my blood sugar right now for you. I know that it's going to be high. That is for sure. Hey, we still don't have any comments. Guys, don't be shy. 2 people watching. It's cool. If you're watching this after this has gone live and you're missing this very exciting live stream, of me testing my blood sugar. There we go, guys. Let's see if I can actually get this to focus. Wait, is it focusing? Yeah, look at that. Okay, and booyah! Can we get the blood? Oh no, I didn't do it deep enough. Okay, so don't you hate that? Like, okay, a bit of a pressure situation. That wasn't deep enough. Didn't really hurt, but let's try again. Okay, let's get a focus. 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 Oh, wait a minute. There is blood there. Ha! I'm bleeding. Let's try this then. Let's not poke. Nope, that's already closed up. Do you guys find sometimes that it tends to close up really quickly, right? It's crazy. Okay, let's try this again. Get out of shot, Tim, so the camera doesn't see me. Okay, here we go. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Booyah! Okay. Okay, now we've got blood. Good. Great success. For those of you not used to being diabetic, I'm sorry. I understand. I think we take it for granted as diabetics that this stuff doesn't freak us out, but it can freak other people out. This is going to be really high. Oh, not too bad. Well, 10.2. Focus. Focus camera. Focus camera. Cool. 10.2. Eesh, I don't know what that is in US measurements. And this is something that I'm going to be a lot better at, because if I'm interviewing a fellow diabetic and they're talking blood sugar numbers, they were 300, I need to know exactly what that is. But for the sake of this, YouTube is Google's our friend. So let me quickly just jump onto Google. Blood glucose calculator. 1 second. Blood calculator. So for those of you wondering what my blood sugar is right now, give me 1 second. There we go. It is 180. So yeah, exactly 180 at the moment, which, considering I've been eating a lot of junk this afternoon, it's okay. Active units on my pump. Let's have a look at that. Active units, 1.9. So I may just do a little correction. Anyway, guys, I think that is me done. After this very unscheduled, very unprompted, off the cuff, blood testing, podcast speaking, live stream. So yeah, guys, I'm going to sign off, but please just let me know what you think about the podcast. If you want to be interviewed on the podcast, or if you are interested, let me know. Is the name okay? Diabetic Tim Podcast. Is that cool? Can you guys buy into that? Let me know. All these things. And just for fun, whenever you're watching this video, let me know what your blood sugar readings are below. Why not? Hey, thanks, John. Hey, Tim, it's working. Cool. John, I appreciate it. I'm going to reply in the comments. Hey, John. Hey, cool. John's actually probably the closest person geographically to me right now, because I know most of you that are subscribing are in the US. John is about, I'd say, 2.5, 3 miles away, maybe a bit more. Anyway, random. Thank you, John, for the comments. Everybody, I'm signing off. Have an excellent weekend, or whenever you're watching this, it might be 2020. I hope you're well.